I'm back. So, today we will be discussing this article that came out about a week ago. It's been long overdue. So, bring your snacks. I got my avocado spicy dip with some vegetable flavored crackers. So, let's get the snacking, grab your drinks, grab your smoke, whatever. And we're going to be discussing Caleb Elfenbein. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm horrible with that. But this article came on my little Metro phone. It came a few days, about a week ago. It came and it was talking about the person who wrote this article was talking about how they're planning on taking out um, Black history out of schools. And I just want to talk about my opinions and thoughts, and, as well as talk about the things that was discussed in the article. And I copied hand to hand from some of the stuff that the article mentioned. So I'll be, quoting the article on today's live video. So yeah, grab your water. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss a couple things. Hope I don't make a mess. Um, Let me get my paper and pen out because we finna get deep into this real quick because this is unacceptable. This is most definitely unacceptable. I probably won't be able to eat and talk at the same time. This was a bad idea. Wrong video. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait before we eat. But okay, so I'm just gonna read what I got and then go into everything afterwards. So Salon.com published August the 6th at 12 p.m. Okay, by Caleb Elfenbein. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong. This article, right? Now, professor of history. He's a professor of history, a religious study, an associate, down from faculty development and diversity, equity, and inclusion at Grinnell. I'm sorry for pronouncing that name wrong. Grinnell College in Lowell. Okay, so that's a little bit about Caleb and who he is and his knowledge behind the topic of his article. Okay, so article sum up. And this is quoting from the article. Communities across the country are debating how or even whether to teach about race in American history in our public schools. Technical critical perceptions across the country are debating, right? So teaching critical perceptions on the role of race in America, life and diverse, because it shines the light on habits of history that while Americans have developed over time to avoid discomfort or to maintain what James Baldwin called white innocence. Now, do your research on James Baldwin. We're not going to talk about that in this video, but he's basically an advocate for his people only, is what it sounds like. And white innocence is talking about they don't want their image to be destroyed about how their ancestors treated our ancestors. I'm sorry if that makes you feel uncomfortable, sir, but we were very uncomfortable. Our ancestors were very uncomfortable when this happened, when that stuff, we were being mistreated. We're still being mistreated, so we don't really care about uncomfortability and maintaining y'all's innocence. There's nothing innocent about what you guys have done. I'm probably going to lose a couple of followers, man, because I'm letting them have it. And I got mixed nieces and nephews. I got nieces and nephews that are mixed with Mexican, white, whole kinds of different races. So I'm not racist, but I do have opinions. I think it's important for, especially because we're in a different time now where most children these days are like mixed with something. It's important for them to know their history, from where their families come from, especially if there's situations where they were adopted or in the system and they don't have anyone of color to teach them anything. So that's why I feel like it's really important for us to like advocate for this and to push them to continue to talk about it, because there was no sympathy for me when I was 6 and 7 years old being taught racial history and how they did I can't think of his name right now, but how they did him. They showed us the video of him being all beat up and abused. I'm gonna think of his name in a second. The pictures was really too much for a child to witness, at that age. And then they even had this racial game we played in school in Ohio where the teachers were slaves, and all of our teachers were white except for like one or two. So the teachers were like slave masters, and the kids had to run and hide. Mind you, that this school that I went to was mainly black people. So you get an X on your arm or on your chest or on your head if you're caught. And some of the teachers would help because they were trying to copy what was going on during that time of slavery and people running. So one of the teachers was like Harriet Tubman, I'm sorry. And the other teacher was just one of the people who got caught helping. And there were other people outside of black uh, who had helped slaves escape and stuff like that. So, we know that not all people back then of that race is not bad, but I'm backtracking. I'm going a little too far. Let me slow down. Okay. Because it shines light, yeah, on white innocence. So these habits show themselves in many ways. This is from the article. These habits show themselves in many ways, including contemporary, these are some big words, contemporary legal and legislative activities that have made it more difficult, again, for Black Americans to exercise their rights and to vote. And in general, I added that last part, and in general. And he also stated in this article, sorry if I can't pronounce this right, Theophilus is Theophilus. Eugene, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. It's Eugene. Theophilus and Gene Bull Connor, aka Bull Connor. Do your research on him. If you're wondering, just a little bit, he's the commissioner of public safety in Birmingham, Alabama, or he was. I think he passed. He was famous for pushing the Jim Crow laws. So the reason why I wanted to make this very known is because we got to understand that people in higher, spots in the world, in the system and everything, like people behind the courts and like the legal stuff, just people there who are racist. There's some people there who don't feel like we deserve any type of equality, and we allow these people to work and control the laws and everything in between that. So he's famous for pushing the Jim Crow laws. If you're not familiar with Jim Crow laws, you should do your research on that. He's also famous for pushing segregation and violence to the colored communities. He had something to do with the poll tax and other tools to purposefully suppress upliving. Man, my handwriting, I need to work on it. I'm sorry, y'all. I really wanted to wait to make this video, but I just can't anymore. So, Black communities, Black citizens, people, basically make it life a living hell for us. Okay, want to believe that these issues don't exist or matter today. This is what it says in the article. People want to believe that these issues of racism and all that doesn't exist, but it's obviously still here, right? So it says that people want to believe that this stuff doesn't exist anymore. And it also stated in the article, yeah, look at the news and stuff like that. This stuff is still going on. Violence is still going on in the colored and mixed community. And then I also put in parentheses right here. So we're moving out from quotes from the article to my own opinions. My conclusion matters, is what I said. My conclusion matters. People in the law court who supports these behaviors and beliefs against a nation, a royal nation at that, is at danger to us, the people. Okay? State why I feel this way. Okay, so why do I feel this way? Is because, like I said, people who don't have our best interests have these leader roles, and they have the power to manipulate the law, how our people are treated, and they have just everything to do with all that stuff. How a lot of the systems, and it stated this in the article. I should have probably wrote it down, but it stated something in the article how Bull Connor, around that time, around that era, that let me see how I can put this, that during that time in Alabama, that let me see how I can put this. During that time, there was things going on about people getting arrested and stuff, for marches and everything like that, and how they would treat even the white people that did decide to participate. They would still get let off easy, if not worse than the colored people that was marching, and how the people who were racist that was in charge and who was in lead of everything helped push certain behaviors within the jail system. And then they also graduated that from once we graduated from slavery and stuff like that, they still decided to make it hard for us to get jobs, to get to participate in voting and everything like that. Um, and the reason why they didn't want us to vote is, this is my conclusion. This is how I feel from all the research I've done. The reason why they didn't want us to vote back then was because, not about the presidencies, but about the legislative, Congress, and everything like that. Because if we had a say so, then if we go to Congress, then they would have to take our 2 cents in consideration regarding changing things and laws like that. They're the ones who's in control of making laws pass, and child support, food stamps, and all that stuff. So they didn't want us to have a say so in that, because they didn't want to help us as a whole, as a people. Now, let's see. Okay, so my opinions. Okay, why do I feel this way? Yeah. So the next thing, how this affects our youth, our future, because our youth is our future. Like I said, especially people, because a lot of people nowadays are mixed. It's important for them to be educated in the school systems regarding this, because they need to know the world that they came from. They need to know the world that we're in, and have a realization that life isn't fair, and that this stuff still goes on. If they may be wondering why they're being mistreated differently than a friend that may look different than them at a job or an interview or at a restaurant, that they need to know why. And that's why I feel like it's important for our youth to know this kind of things, because if they don't know, then they're going to try their best to erase this a part of our history. They've erased so much already. Like, they want to erase everything, and make it seem like they were innocent in all of this. And so that's why I feel like it's important for our youth to know and to still learn about this in schools. How this affects our youth and education: lack of knowledge, a lack of power, lack of thought. It kind of, in my opinion, it forms some type of control over the next generations, our future. It allows them to have more control. If people feel like this stuff doesn't exist, that it never happened, it allows them to feel like they got enough freedom, they don't have to fight as much, and that the next black generations to grow up, you know, will be easily like pulled here and there, because they don't understand, they don't have an understanding. A lot of people went home that day I went to school, that I told you guys about earlier in the video when we played that game. A lot of us went home and asked questions and told our parents, and they sat us down, made us watch Roots, they made us read books, and educated us on their experiences. My mom was born in the 50s. My mother was mixed. My mother had pale skin, she didn't have my skin tone. My mother had pale skin, so she had to sit down and break it down to me once I told her everything that we were learning at school. They don't want us to have these kind of conversations with our children, because they want to control and brainwash. And that's why I feel like it affects our youth, especially in education. We really need to be homeschooling our children, but that's another topic. Um, Talk about racial treatments in school, showing Emmett Till graphic photos. That's what I was trying to say his name, Emmett Till. When they showed us those photos, and I went home, like there were some kids that ran out the classroom crying and stuff. Like, you want to wait till now? You want to wait 20 something years later to decide to take away our education when it comes to Black history? Where was this sympathy at when y'all were just proudly showing how y'all's ancestors treated us? I just feel like it's a little too late for all that. The damage has been done, the knowledge is out there, and you just need to continue teaching it and tell the truth while you're at it, because they've been switching stuff up, and we already know Columbus was not the first. This, I'm getting into a little conspiracy right here, but we already know he was not the first to discover. How you gonna be the first to discover something when it was already occupied? But that's another topic. Okay, that's another topic. But showing Emmett Till graphic photos to 6 to 8 year olds, and how it affected me, it didn't affect me too much, because I grew up watching scary movies and I went through a lot of traumatic experiences. But it was kind of like shock. They didn't give us no warning. It was just like, boom, they had the little thing, the little old school screens, and it was clicking, and it just went from 0 to 100 real quick. And it just made a lot of people in my classroom throw up, run out crying, uncomfortable. By the end of the class, it was only like maybe 10 of us sitting in there. So I just feel like maybe they didn't have to do it that extreme. They don't have to continue doing it the way they did, but I feel like it still should be discussed. Black history. We still need a Black history, because if we allow them to take out Black history teachings in our education, then we're going to basically giving them permission to take out Black History Month. And yes, all lives matter, and a lot of other like ethnicities and nationalities should be getting, you know, history months dedicated to them as well, not just Black people. there was other races that were enslaved as well, actually before blacks were enslaved. So all this stuff should be brought to the light. All this stuff should be taught into schools. How teachers were, the slave masters, you already talked about that. The kids had to hide in school. Yeah, we already talked about that. Yeah, they got an X. They gave us. I was scrolling and landed on Drake's short real quick, right as I scroll, landing on Drake's short on my YouTube feed. Synchronicity, haha. Yes, thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. It's just a little rant. I also want to thank the article writer Caleb Elfenbein. Sorry if I can't pronounce your name right. I just want to thank you for taking the time out of doing all this research, reaching out to different people, and writing this article and letting this be known to the world that this is their goal to the future, to completely erase history, and just giving us an education, giving us an option to have a voice to stand for something. So I just want to thank you for creating this article. Let's see. Thank you, viewers and subscribers who's watching live, and as well when I get off of here, who continues to watch. Share this and comment your comments below. So that's all I got for this topic. I'm going to read these couple comments and probably head off. I'm probably about to go live again in a second, just doing the facial, eating my snacks, and getting ready for the week. It's been a rough week, y'all. And yes, and the book says be kind. So let's be kind to each other, please. Okay. Yeah, Synchronicity. Yeah, he's one of my favorite artists. LOL. He's an artist. I didn't know he was an artist. I thought he was just a writer or publicist. I got really excited at that Synchronicity. Yeah, Synchronicity is lately. It's been on track. It's been working with me. The Great Divine has been on my side for sure. So yeah, but what do you guys feel about that? Them trying to take out, Black history out of the school systems. I don't really know how to feel about that. It kind of made me feel uncomfortable. He's a rapper and singer mainly. Oh wow. Really? That's my thing. Wait, are you talking about Drake? Yeah, I know Drake is. Yeah, I know Drake's a rapper and singer. I love Drake. I've been watching him since Whatever It Takes. I know I can make it through. I love Degrassi. Be the best that I can be. Here's what I see to you. My folks got company. I'm gonna get kicked out. I keep I'm disturbing the peace. But all right, y'all. Just check out the video. Make sure you share, comment your opinions below. Thank you guys for watching. Mwah. Oh my god, I was like, no way you don't know Drake. No, I love Drake. I love Drake's music for real. I mean, I was about to say something kind of funny. You know how they make fun of Drake because he's light skinned. He makes a lot of like emotional music. Y'all better get off of Drake.